There is a quiet kind of person on the internet. They watch, they listen, they understand, but they almost never post. Not because they have nothing to say, but because their inner world is louder than the digital one. People assume they're shy, or private, or uninterested. But the truth is deeper. Not posting is not avoidance, it's intention. It's choosing presence over performance. You see, people who don't post are not disconnected. They're deeply connected, just in ways the internet doesn't reward. They don't share everything because their value isn't measured in visibility. Their life does not need an audience to feel real. They scroll slowly, think deeply, speak rarely, and post almost never. But this silence is not emptiness, it's reflection. For people who don't post, the mind is not on display. It's a sanctuary, a place where thoughts are allowed to exist without needing applause. They don't post because they don't need to be seen to be meaningful. Their worth is not tied to engagement. Their identity is not a highlight reel. This isn't withdrawal, it's self-protection. Because posting feels like exposure. Visibility feels like vulnerability. And being visible means being judged, something their nervous system learned long ago to avoid. Psychologists call this self-presentational caution, the instinct to protect your emotional core from misunderstanding. These people learned early in life that staying quiet meant staying safe, that silence prevented embarrassment, that invisibility prevented harm. So now they observe from the edges, not because they don't belong, but because belonging feels safer from a distance. You might think they're absent, but they see everything. They read the room, they read the tone, they read the silence, often better than the people who post constantly. Their quiet is not emptiness, it's awareness. People who don't post rarely seek attention, but they notice intention. They care more about meaning than visibility, more about sincerity than reach. They're not absent from life. They're simply living it without turning it into content. Psychologists describe this as self-presentational caution, the instinct to protect yourself from misinterpretation. When you post, people judge the version of you they think they see. When you stay silent, you stay safe from distortion. For many of them, posting feels like exposure, like stepping into a spotlight they never asked for. Their nervous system reads visibility as a threat, not because of weakness, but because their past taught them that attention wasn't always safe. These people learned long ago that privacy is peace, that not everyone deserves access to their inner world, that silence protects what is still healing. Not posting is not avoidance, it is self-respect. They don't need to announce their growth. They don't need applause for their progress. The most meaningful changes in their life happen quietly, not in captions, not in comments, but deep within their private mind. Unlike those who post constantly, people who stay silent online aren't driven by comparison. They're not measuring their life against highlight reels. They understand that social media is a stage, not a reflection of reality. This gives them emotional freedom, the freedom to experience life without documenting it, freedom to enjoy moments without needing proof, freedom to exist without turning themselves into a brand. It's not that they lack stories, they have many. They just don't need to broadcast them. Their life feels too real, too personal, too sacred to turn into something consumable. Their memories are meant to be lived, not displayed. People who don't post often feel things intensely. They live moments fully, quietly, internally. And because the experience itself is enough for them, the urge to record it disappears. Some emotions are too real to interrupt with a camera. They don't chase validation because they don't trust it. Temporary approval feels too fragile, too dependent on trends, moods, and algorithms. What strangers think of them isn't worth sacrificing their inner calm. For people who don't post, connection is built through presence, not performance. They value one real conversation more than 1,000 likes. They show up for people, not platforms. They don't post because they don't need to be constantly witnessed to feel alive. Their self-worth comes from who they are when no one's looking, not from the image they project. People who don't post have learned to sit with their feelings without broadcasting them. They process sadness privately, celebrate joy quietly, and heal without an audience. Their emotions are not content, they are personal truths. To them, life doesn't need to be documented to be meaningful. A sunset is not a post, it's a moment. A smile is not content, it's connection. And a memory doesn't need an audience, only a heart to hold it. Their silence online is actually a sign of emotional depth. They listen more than they speak. They feel more than they show. They care more than they reveal. Silence is not emptiness. It is an inner world too rich for constant display. And if you pay attention, you'll notice something. The people who don't post the most often feel the most. They are sensitive, observant, reflective, and perhaps even afraid of being misunderstood by a world that rushes to judge before it listens. For non-posters, privacy is not about secrecy. It's about safety. It's choosing who earns access to their inner world, instead of giving it away to everyone watching. And maybe they don't post because they've been hurt before, criticized, mocked, judged. They learned that silence protects them from the world's sharp edges. Others don't post because they refuse to compete. They don't want to measure their lives against highlight reels, not when they know the truth behind the curtain. People who don't post are often older souls. They see through things, trends, games, attention traps. They've outgrown the need to be seen. People who don't post are not antisocial. Many are deeply caring, deeply empathetic. They just give their energy to real people, not the algorithm. They don't show you everything, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Their lives are full. Their hearts are alive. Their days are meaningful. They're just living them instead of filming them. In a world where everyone is shouting for attention, their silence becomes its own kind of power. A way of saying, I am enough without broadcasting myself. You may think they're invisible, but the truth is, people who don't post often understand themselves far better than those who constantly perform. They've built an identity that doesn't depend on being seen. People who don't post have learned one powerful truth. Not everything needs an audience. Some moments are too sacred, too intimate, too alive to be shared. They want to feel life, not package it. And maybe they don't post because they're tired. Tired of pretending, tired of performing, tired of being on all the time. Silence becomes their way of breathing again. People who don't post often fear one thing, being misunderstood. Because online, people don't listen, they react. And when you feel deeply, even small misinterpretations can hurt. Silence becomes protection. But here's what most people never notice. Their silence is not emptiness. It's depth. It's reflection. It's the clarity that comes when you stop performing and actually feel your life.